Prepara a goiabeira, a lua está quase tão cheia. Sonho será tua liteira, estampará teu ser na areia, a beleza de viver. Concreta está tua certeza, tudo estará na paz perfeita. Barcos arpar na correnteza, longe estará fazer proeza na vida do teu ser. Será a fortaleza e forjará a brincadeira pra sempre estar buscando estrelas na esperança de um dia revela na ribeira do teu ser. Yeah. Maravilha, maravilha, maravilha. Obrigado, obrigado, gente. Muito obrigado. Thank you for your time, for the moment that you're here hanging out. I hope you can see me. I hope you can hear me. I'm Frederico7, right here from my garage, the Lion's Lair, na Toca do Leão, where I make some music, hang out, and every once in a while, most weeks really, this is going to be actually the 23rd interview I do. But yes, I come here on Tuesdays to talk with musicians and with friends that are creatives and want to share a little bit of the work they're doing as a way for us to build connection and mutual appreciation in these crazy times. Since last March that we took a pause as we were about to embark here in Austin, Texas on Music Week, South by Southwest Week. We haven't been playing music, at least my band has not really been playing much music, and many other musicians as well. We've been doing what we can to keep things going. So one of the ways that we bring connection and keep bringing that music to the people we love, with, in this case, you, either if you're joining us from Austin Music Channel 16 or on YouTube or Facebook. Abraço, beijo na alma. If you are in Brazil, Mexico, América Latina, all over the United States, here in the US, beijo na alma. Anywhere in the universe where you may find this conversation. We will be talking with a beloved band, 35 millimeters. They are friends of mine, outstanding musicians. They have a beautiful, beautiful record out. I actually have some. Let me put some of the artwork here. Yes, heartache is such a dirty business. So we're gonna be talking to them about why this title, what's up with their music, all the good stuff. Already got some. Oh yeah, great. Alan is here. What's up? What's up? Yeah, que onda? Que onda? So good, good. You guys can hear, you guys can see me. So if you happen to stumble on this right now on Facebook, of to the Frederico7 Facebook page, you can put comments and hopefully they will show up here and I can read your comments for the band. Also, if you can reach us on YouTube, Frederico7 Music Channel on YouTube. There is a link. I'll post the link in a little bit for you guys, where if you are watching us on YouTube or Facebook, you can put your comments on real time and then you can ask the band any questions you may have. You can get some comments and so forth. So yeah, so you want that's a good reason to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Frederico7. The just go, just do it, because then you can we can read your comments one day at a time. There is a tunnel that we still have to go on through this pandemic. Now we see the light at the end of the tunnel. We don't know how long the tunnel is. However, it's time to persevere and keep pushing, right? We have to keep pushing for the things that we want. So as we push through it, music brings us light, and it's been a pleasure to come here every other week. I played some music a little bit earlier from Micah Shalom, Baltimore Ska. He had a release just last month. A beautiful song. He was here on the show. We talked about why Baltimore Ska is a homage to his grandma. It was a beautiful track. We see some beloved Austin musicians. Then just before the break, we sat down with Lulu, Lulu of Night Glitter. Night Glitter is a great band, also a Austin-based band that has some cosmic music. We're going to play a song by them right now. So yeah, you see here the artwork for Night Glitter, the band. So yes, we had a great conversation with Lulu a few weeks ago. You can see that conversation, you can hear it on my YouTube channel, the Frederico7 Music Channel. But in the meantime, let me go ahead and cue some music for you, a CS. We're going to be hearing this song called Le Passage by Night Glitter. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a cinematic day today. So this is a cinematic time here. Let's check it out.
Quand je regarde dans tes yeux, mon cœur il bat si fort pour toi. Et mes pensées s'emportent dans le courant de nos idées. Mais je me trouve attachée à l'amour d'un cœur brisé. Allez, donne-moi la force de continuer. Ne me laisse pas partir dans le passé. Allez, donne-moi la force de continuer. Ne me laisse pas partir dans le passé. Tous mes mots deviennent complètement paralysés. Je peux pas voir clair dans ta réalité. Alors il me faut du temps pour pouvoir continuer. À trouver une histoire qui résonne avec moi. Allez, donne-moi la force de continuer. Ne me laisse pas partir dans le passé. Allez, donne-moi la force de continuer. Ne me laisse pas partir dans le passé. Quand ton cœur il s'ouvre, je sais que tu vas me voir. Faut s'arrêter. Il y a une histoire qui résonne dans ma tête et ça me rend complètement folle. Faut s'arrêter.
Okay, so that was Night Glitter. Outstanding. Simply outstanding. You can find Night Glitter and you can find many of these bands that we've been listening to. Um, just go to YouTube and you can find the Frederico7 music channel. What a pleasure to be here hanging out with you guys. Yeah, so that we are doing this every Tuesday. Next Tuesday, I'm gonna be talking with a Brazilian trumpeter called Felipe Brito, talking about being an immigrant musician, an immigrant jazz student pursuing his career here in Austin, Texas. Felipe has a vast history playing jazz in Brazil and abroad, and he plays in the UT Orchestra and writes some music for the UT Orchestra. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm finalizing the date right now also to bring Austin beloved drummer Brennan Temple so we can have a conversation with Brennan Temple, see how his year has been up to now. So that's what I do here every other Tuesday. I bring different musicians, feature their new music, their new releases, and I feature some of my music as well to share a little bit of conexión entre las Américas, to connect us through languages, through sounds from Latino America, El Caribe, Europa, Austin, Texas, all a groovy pot, baby. So abraço. Thank you for being here at 7 with Frederico7. And this is the very first episode of what I'm calling season 2. That's right, I did 22 interviews last year, which you can access on my YouTube channel. And I hope to keep doing this as we navigate this pandemic together to bring connection and love to you. So talking about connection and love, I'm going to play a little bit of a tune by our guests today, 35 millimeters. I'm gonna play a little bit of a tune called Secret Spy Girl, I believe. So check it out, and then we're gonna be bringing them into the studio. So they have a beautiful new album, 35 millimeters. Heartache is such a dirty business. This is Secret Spy Girl, and then we will bring the band to the studio. Check it out.
Dancing at the club last night. You know you really caught my eye. You had the style of a chick in a Bond flick, but I didn't want you to die. Your high heel boots walk on with me, but your real name's still a mystery. You got me under your mind control. Every time your lips touch mine, follow you around the world. I never even saw the signs. From Marrakesh to Timbuktu, every minute I just wanna be with you. But it's plain to see that you will never be truly mine. My baby is a secret spy. She's way too cool for the FBI. You woke me up at 5:09, tied me up with a telephone line, and I dug it. when the zipper falls and you
Oh,
undress.
Dios mío. Wow, that is fantastic. Let's bring the band. Let's bring the band in. Oh my gosh. Let's check out a little bit of this guy. So let's bring my friend Fumi here to the studio. Hey, Fumi, how
What's
you
happening?
doing?
How are you
What's
doing?
happening? Great to see
Good, good to
you.
see you.
Yes, welcome aboard. Let's bring in Claude.
Hey,
Hello.
hey,
How you
how
doing, my
y'all doing?
friend?
Pretty good, man.
That's great, outstanding. Great to hear y'all's music. Now let's bring in Alan.
Alana's here? Oh, right.
Hey,
Yeah,
Hi,
Alan
guys.
is here. All right, so it's we got four squares here. Let's get into it. How are you guys doing today? Let's just go around the room. Maybe we can go Fumi, Alan, and then Claude. What's going on in your day today?
Today, it's good. You know, uh, smooth.
Yeah.
Nothing really major things happen. I'm still alive. Yeah, it's good. Good day.
Oh, nice. Well, how about you, Alan?
It's been a good day. It's been a very even keeled day, and I haven't played any music yet today, so it was kind of nice to hear that song and remember what it feels like to play that song live with you guys. But yeah, it's been a good day. It was beautiful outside today.
It is.
Yes, it has been. We've been very lucky with some nice winter days, considering the kind of weather we can get. How about you, Claude? What's happening in your world?
Well, I had a really nice day. I was outside for a while and went to a really early dinner, like four, at the Mediterranean place Abba outside.
Ooh.
Really nice, socially distanced outside thing. So that was good. And then I came down here. So not
Oh,
much.
yeah. It's a privilege to be alive and be able to just, take a break to really think about how the day is going, which makes me think to just a special shout to everybody that may be watching that may work in healthcare or mental
Hmm.
health care or is a teacher, because I know that teachers are getting back to work and we have a lot of medical issues happening in the communities right now, and people are putting some long hours. So if someone is doing their unwinding and hanging out and listening to us talk, beautiful love to you especially. And we hope to see everybody the other side of this. How has been, I asked these all the bands that come in for you guys, and you guys can jump in at any time. This whole year, right? We got the news around early March. I remember playing a show in late February with Fumi and with Alan. That was maybe the last full band show I played at the 29th of February. So 1 year almost without being able to play a lot of our music. What have you been doing to keep yourself resilient, to keep yourself going?
Well, I have a studio in the house, and I know I see you do. And during this time, that's a really good thing to have because it's always there. You can always go and make some music. And that's what I actually took mine apart, moved all my stuff around the room, got some software to help me tune my room and got it into a really professional sounding sound and taking a mastering course so I can learn how to master. And I did an
Yeah,
ambient album. So
it
That
getting
is
is.
ready for our album, which just came out in December. We barely finished it before lockdown. Yeah.
Wow, that
Yeah.
is good
Yeah.
usage of time, and I like to see
Yeah.
that you're taking the mastering
Hmm.
class because
Hmm.
more and more we musicians we have to do so much, and
Yeah.
so I try to do the things that, oh, maybe I find joy from those, like, oh, I have joy from talking to you guys, for example.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that way you can master your music or master music by your friends. I can,
Yeah.
and we can help each other that way.
Yeah.
How about you, Fumi? We talked a little bit. We played the social distancing show back in early October. So I
Yeah.
saw you then. It was great to be outside playing music with you. That was the only time in this whole pandemic that I played outside. What have you been doing to keep yourself going?
I've been actually practice guitar and learning actually a new skill, which is playing guitar with a finger.
Oh, cool.
I always wanted to do that, but I've never done it. So, I focus on the three fingers and play the guitar. I did that, and
Any
besides me,
Django Reinhardt?
Right. Yeah.
well, I need a couple more years for that. No, maybe more 5 years. Okay, but I get to it. But besides music, I am a graphic designer. So, trying to polish your skill and do work, getting busy, creatively. Yes.
And you are an outstanding graphic designer. Am I correct to say that your graphic design is called Fuman Studios? Is that correct?
Yes. Few months studios.
The art and the record that you guys put out, we'll talk a little bit more about the record, but the art and the record you did, you also have been doing art for many other folks' record, including my records,
Yes.
which
Great. Thank you.
is the art of this channel. So whenever, sometimes when I go to breaks or the title of this channel, is basically your art. So you're very welcome, Fumi, and that's part of what this show is about. Us
Thank you.
sharing what we do and sharing our connections. So anybody watching that, you need graphic design work, you need you have a single release, you need some
Yes.
things. There you go. Fuman Studios, beautiful design work by Fumi. Very
The
any
best.
yeah, and you were very attentive and very diverse in your art. So I like that a lot about you. So go and check his Instagram and his website. And Alan, how about you? I also saw you earlier, and if
Yeah.
most of you guys watching, if you know my music, you know that Alan is the bass player of Frederico7, and we've been playing pretty steadily before the break. You and I, for a year and a half, pretty steadily. For a year and a half, we were playing
Yeah.
3-4 times a month as a full band. What have you been doing to keep sane?
That's a good question. I think a lot of my practice of developing or maintaining resilience in this had to do with experiencing gratitude for the things that I do have. I've had a lot of space and time to work on exploring aspects of my musicianship that are kind of new territory for me. Like right before my birthday, or actually right around my birthday, which was right before the initial lockdown, I added some cymbals to an old drum set that my brother gave me. And I've been working on becoming a drummer, even though that's not an instrument I've ever played in a band. But I realized that cross-training myself as a drummer and as a keyboardist, you see I've got a Rhodes piano behind me, and that's my drum set.
So
Those are
jealous.
my nice cymbals, and cross-training has helped my time, my sense of, and playing keyboards has helped my sense of harmony. And I've been using my space here to record a few demos of stuff that I've kind of worked on and off for years. And I think, Reggie, you're kind of aware of my production style from previous collaborations. And I've just been sort of expanding on that a bit and writing things just when I'm feeling inspiration. But feeling, anytime I do feel that inspiration, I encourage myself to kind of lean into it. Whereas in the past, I've felt kind of spread thin at times, but I'm hoping that I'm seeing that playing drums and keyboards has also had a positive effect on my bass playing. So I've been practicing other things that I didn't really explore as much before. So it's been cool, and listening to new music, discovering new music, and paying attention to who's out there still playing.
Right.
That is well said, my friend. Often we find when we are finding those new skills in other instruments or languages, you can go back to your instrument later on and apply those things in different ways. So it's great to see. Or let's say, Claude was talking about mastering, and he may go back to his producing with different ideas from this mastering class. So it's great. You were referring to it as cross training, of training yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to be the best drummer that I can be in 2020 right now, today, right?
Yeah.
We are going to get into it and talk more about the music. I just wanna make sure that I say hello to a few folks that are watching us. There's a band, Easy
Okay.
Compadre. There is a great band here in Austin. They play some very irated cumbia meets electronic
Cool.
sounds. So they're saying hello.
I love
And
them. Hello.
yeah, and they are great.
I know.
And look who's here. This person. Hi, Chris. It's so great to have you participate here. She was mentioning that the show that we did at Esquina Tango, it was interesting. That show, we sounded, with all my humility, we sounded so good that night. It was a really, really a good one. Even people
Everyone
were.
else thought so too.
Yeah, so a shout out. Thanks for being there, Chris. We'd love to see your energy. We made it safe so that we could be together and dance. Oh yeah, hi Lisa. She loves the album
Lisa.
cover. Yes, that
Yeah.
that is outstanding, outstanding. And Lisa, that's right. So Fuman Studios, and he has art, and this background you're seeing, like right here, these green leaves, and you did a tremendous, fantastic job. So thank you. And more folks are saying hello here. Look who's saying hi. Look who's here.
Hey,
Masumi.
Fumi.
We miss you.
Yeah, we miss you, baby.
Yeah. So hi, Mazumi. I am a fan. I know I don't know you at the same level that you guys do, but tremendous work on the band, on your musicianship, and the album just sounds so great. The drums are just fantastic. And yeah, what's up, Easy Compadres? Oh, you guys are getting some love here. What's up? What's up? That's nice. That's good. Good stuff here. Good stuff. That is right. We're gonna talk about the process. So that's a perfect segue. Perfect segue. We're gonna talk about that. Yes, so people are asking why is Mazumi not here with us?
Yeah, I don't know.
I actually have the answer. She said that she had some really bad allergies today, and she
Okay.
just wasn't feeling up to,
Okay.
being on camera. And I totally relate. I'm highly medicated on allergies.
Everybody's suffering. A lot of people are suffering right now.
It just clobbered me yesterday. So
Amigos in Brazil, amigos in Mexico, friends all over Latin America or anywhere else besides Austin. If you don't know, La Ciudad de Austin tiene alergias terribles. We have these crazy allergies that are pollen from trees and plants. Right now is cedar, and some people cannot come and live in Austin. Some people want to live here, but then they have to move out because of allergies. It's true. So yeah, that's what's happening. Me too. I can barely breathe, right?
The trees are having sex with each other, and our faces are getting in the way. That's what's happening.
Oh, that's amazing. So, guys, let's talk a little bit about your band. Let's get right into it. Why the name? Because I think when we talk about the name, we start to get into the music very soon. Why is it called 35 millimeters? Tell us a little bit about the history.
Well,
Claude.
it's because it comes from a type of film that they use on a lot of movies that we really like from the 60s and 50s and 70s. And I also had a bunch of albums that were recorded rather than on regular magnetic tape. They were recorded onto 35 millimeter film stock because it had a great sound, and there was like these logos of these albums, and I just said,
Nice.
since we're trying for a kind of cinematic film type experience, how about that? And it was short, had numbers and 2 letters, so it was nice. Now, I mean, afterwards we found out there's a lot of things are called 35 millimeter. It's all over the place, so it maybe wasn't the greatest idea, but that's our name. So, and I think it expresses, something what we're trying to do. Yeah, I mean, mainly with the tie-in with films of a certain era.
Right.
Absolutely, there is a vintage sound to the band. We're going to hear another track in a few minutes when we close out the show. And then in the weeks to come, I will keep playing your music. But it definitely has a cinematic sound. I do hear maybe a little bit of inspiration from the Ennio Morricone sounds of the Italian. And other composers as well. So how was the process? There are some folks that live in Austin. They may know guys very well, but how was the process of finding the right players for that music? Once you realize, Claude, maybe you're like, oh, I have these records. I love this sound. So maybe you started to think about who could play this music. So how did you guys ended up working together?
Fumi, you want to take that one?
Well, let's do it together then.
Okay.
Well, first, after we record the first album, actually, we didn't think about making a band.
Yeah.
The initial idea was just record the album, which, following the music we love, like, 1950s through the 70s, any spy movie soundtrack.
Nice.
Black exploitation, funk.
Yeah.
And then after we finished the album,
there are there's many little things you could do in there. That's cool.
Yeah. After we finished the album, we love to play out. Like, why we just make an album and then we're not doing anything, then we start looking for the members.
Well, and Fumi and I had been playing together a long time in a group called Afro Freak. And all that time we would drive to gigs together, and we said we both really like this kind of stuff. Let's try that. And I had also been playing with Alan for quite a while, different groups. In fact, Charanga Cakewalk, Michael Ramos's band, we played in the live version of that. And he played on about half of the first album before it was mainly a project between me and Fumi, but a lot of the songs we got Alan to come in and play.
So a shout out to Michael Ramos.
Yeah. Shout out to Michael Ramos. Yeah. And then we were thinking we might need a drummer on some songs and maybe play live. And we thought of Masumi, but we didn't think Masumi would want to do it. I said, well, she's your friend, just ask her. So
since she was the #1 drummer in Austin.
Austin. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nominated for the #1 drummer, right?
Yeah, and she won that year. Yeah.
She won that year.
Outstanding. So, once again, Mazumi, we are sending our love here, and
The
you
number one
guys.
drummer in my heart.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it extends way beyond just the prize. It's you are touching hearts here. Oh my God! So that's great. So through that share experience, and Alan, well, actually, before that, at another time, when I have you guys back, we're gonna have to make sure that we have Mazumi here so that
Yeah.
she can tell us her story as well. So
Yeah,
Mazumi,
yeah.
you're gonna get your chance to set the record straight. But Alan, how was for you coming into this world? Of course, you and I know each other for many years, and so talk to us a little bit of how you see yourself and what you add to this band.
Well, I think one of the things I add to the band, this is funny, this is like a job interview. It's great. We always kill it on job interviews.
You fired. I'm just kidding. You hired.
Breaking news! Breaking news!
I didn't even have to audition for this band. I just
Yeah,
fell in
no.
my lap. But I love the opportunity to play with these two guys in Masumi because there's a lot of genres, a lot of territory represented here, and it's all stuff that I have familiarity with. I mean, I think one thing I have cultivated over the years is just an ability to be diverse in terms of genres that I can play. And I heard what they were working on, and I heard, obviously sort of vintage spy, inspiration, and I heard surf rock. I grew up listening to the Ventures. It was some of the first stuff I learned how to play as a kid. And then I heard, the weird the cool psychedelic rock aspect. And, I think of things that I was influenced by, like particularly maybe the bass player in Vanilla Fudge. I can't recall his name at the moment, but
Tim Bogert.
Yeah, that's exactly who it is. Yes.
Yeah.
And then just sort of standard R&B like James Jamerson influences, and who's just really like one of the most important gods in the pantheon of my musical worship. But and then there's it's kind of more obscure kind of exploitation film stuff that I was somewhat familiar with, even though I didn't really think of it as a genre in its own right. And now I'm kind of come to appreciate it more. There's soundtracks to really obscure films like Vampiros Lesbos, and it's like it's kind of famous among people who are into that kind of stuff, but it's totally obscure to anyone else. And it's this like group of, I think, mostly German musicians who just kind of created this sound. It was like very jazzy but psychedelic and had fuzzy rock elements as well. And I just really like the fact that all of this stuff is being blended together. And I think there's an element of almost theater in Claude's songwriting or lyrical content. It's very dramatic, and I really like that sort of emotional urgency in a lot of the songs. So it's we get to be our moody selves, but kind of do it in a lighthearted way. I don't know, and play really passionately. And it's fun to hear the finished product of this album, because it came out about 6 months after we were locked down, but it does capture what we sound like as an ensemble, because it was all, the rhythm tracks were all recorded live.
Yeah.
It has that feeling. We are getting high from Eileen, the Sahara Lounge. So Sahara Lounge is in the house. And you guys are getting kisses from your drummer, and Yeah, of course. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
keep the love going. And here's some news. Thank you for participating, Mazumi. And yes, I barely hear. I can barely talk with all the allergies, so I hear you. So Hiroshima. Let's talk a little bit about Hiroshima, and then you guys meet here. Like, did you, Fumi, did you meet Mazumi? Did you guys meet here in Austin? Did you meet another place? Talk to us a little bit about your connection being a Japanese American immigrant and meeting another Japanese American immigrant in the heart of Texas.
Okay, I met Masumi here in Austin, and then we found out we came from same city, and yeah, that was really interesting things because how it's kind of rare now in two Japanese people come from different continent, right?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
coming from the other side of the world, from the very same city, and
yeah,
now you have a lot of things that you have in common because you
it's
have
true.
Claude and Alan in common.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah,
I
start
know.
right there.
yeah, yeah.
It was really weird. But same time, like we speak with a different dialect, Japanese.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
Has it
it's
been
really nice.
comforting in that band dynamic for you? Go to rehearsals and there is an element of home right there in another human being. Because sometimes I have that feeling with Brazil. For me, music always comes first. Sure, it doesn't matter where your country you're from necessarily. If you want to play the music and you're passionate about doing that musical work, but often has been nice to have someone like Bruno in my band that just has, or Sergio Yazbek,
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
guitar player. Hi,
yeah, yeah.
Sergio, over there in
Hey,
In
Joe.
Nashville. So for me, it's always comforting musically, but also in a personal level. And I find that then my bandmates start to know more about our world. How do you guys, Alan and Claude, do you guys feel like playing with these two musicians from Hiroshima, like have informed your world in different ways?
Yeah,
oh yeah,
definitely.
for sure. I
I,
mean, I feel sometimes if they don't want us to hear stuff, then they just talk in Japanese. But
No, 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 no.
but
I
I
don't
see
think
how.
we talk about that thing in
Well,
Japanese.
I don't know, So,
No, no, no. No,
but
no.
yeah, it's always good to have different different viewpoints add into the thing, uh, and and I feel that Japanese people in a general way are like very polite and calm about things, calmer than I am. So
Just
it
only
helps.
surface though.
Yeah, well,
Inside
maybe,
is
but
like,
but it
It's
helps
just
most of
calm
the
me
time.
down sometimes. So
Okay,
yeah,
good,
yeah.
good.
That's great. How
Okay.
about you, Alan? How has it been for you hanging out with those folks
I
in
love
such
it.
a musical level, right?
Yeah, I really love it. I was influenced by Japanese culture at a pretty young age. I remember being infatuated by. There was a mini series on TV when I was a kid called Shogun, and after I saw
Uh-huh.
that, I just wanted to experience everything I could that was Japanese. And I had a couple of friends in elementary school in Brownsville, Texas, who uh, moved here from Japan, and I became really close friends with them pretty quickly. And they kind of taught me about their pop culture, their sort of uh, films about robots and monsters and things that I think a lot of people appreciate is just one of the many unique expressions of Japanese culture. But I also think it's interesting to think about the fact that maybe one of my observations about Japanese culture is that there's an appreciation of becoming a connoisseur in something, or cultivating like a really deep knowledge of, you know, a musical genre or a certain type of, you know, something that people appreciate. And I think about the way that musicians in Japan may be highly influenced by expressions of American musical culture, and I find it intriguing to kind of interact, you know, play with other musicians who may have had the experience of learning about American musical culture, but in a different context, and then coming together with them and playing music with them and hearing their interpretation of something that may have started out in America, maybe, you know, something jazzy or funky or whatever, but then realizing that it becomes universal and it becomes, you know, the intellectual property of the world, and through the eyes of somebody with a different cultural origin, or the ears of somebody from somewhere else. So I just really like that. I like hearing other people's interpretation of things.
No, that's nice, and we'll get into a little bit more on that. I wanna just real briefly say hello once again to everybody watching us on Austin Music TV, Austin Music Channel,
Hello.
channel 16
Yeah.
here in
How y'all
Austin.
doing?
Abraço.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are hanging in there, keeping safe if you can. Those of you that can work from home and be at home. Yes, so for everybody, not just on the Austin Music TV, but also all over the world, in Mexico, in Brazil, in Japan. If you run into this conversation we are having, you can hear more music from the new record from 35 millimeters. Heartache is such a dirty business. Right here is the link on Bandcamp. So 35 millimeters official.bandcamp.com. So right here. And you can support the band, buy the record, and share it with your friends. Yeah, shout out to everybody watching us. There is a couple more things. Let me get here. We got a few comments. We got a musician, Oscar Botello, just saying saludos. You guys are a great project. So yeah, that's great to share.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
part
you,
of what we're
Oscar.
doing. Yeah, it's part of what we're doing here, just sharing music with each other and learning, and maybe we can become fan of new bands and support this new sound. So thank you, Oscar, and thank you for all the work you're doing as well. And oh yeah, so Chris, she thinks that 35 millimeter would be huge in Japan. And you know, there's a whole thing about Japanese design and how the design of Japan in 19th century and 18th century and revolutionized modern art of the 20th century. And maybe in a musical way, there's something to the aesthetic, you know, maybe. Oh yeah, so let's talk a little bit about. So that's perfect segue. I'm gonna ask you guys a little bit about your individual stories. But before I do, just reminding folks, if you're watching this on Austin Music TV, you can later on you can subscribe to the Frederico7 YouTube channel and see the interview in full, and also get links to other interviews. Guys, that's thank you, Chris. I didn't get into your histories a little bit individually. Let's start with you, Claude. When I came to Austin, I was just a young boy. I was in college, but I wasn't even a musician. I started to go out, and Austin was my music school. Every night in the 1996 through 2000, I would go out almost every night, and that's when I met your music. Talk to us a little bit about the band that you played back then, and a little bit of your history over the years. You mentioned Afro Freak. Actually, before you say that, Afro Freak,
Yeah.
hidden treasure of music in Austin. The most, like a non-talked about band, in my opinion. I think Afro Freak, and we'll have an Afro Freak day here in this show, I promise.
Okay.
But yeah, let's talk a little bit about your history in Austin, Claude. When did you get here? And
Okay.
yeah.
I've been in Austin since late 1976, so
Ooh.
maybe before you were born. And that's when I first started playing. And for probably about the first, I don't know, 10 or 15 years of my playing, I played mainly reggae and was in one of the first reggae bands in Texas. Um, and then later on, after a few years, I had a reggae band in the 80s called Pressure that was very regionally popular. I don't know if I'd say we're nationally popular. We did tour nationally all through the States, and we won some best reggae band and best EP some years in the Chronicle when the Chronicle first started. I mean, this was before South by Southwest, but it was in the big Liberty Lunch era, and we were very popular at Liberty Lunch. And then I did various other bands. I came back and played with Malcolm Papa Mali and Michael Lee Johnson in the later part of the Killer Bees as well. It was very known, well-known reggae band that toured a lot all over the place too. So that was kind of my thing for many years. But I also was in the kind of new wave in the 80s bands. And, during the 90s, I freelanced a lot, but I started getting into electronic music, which besides 35 millimeter, my main thing outside of that is like all sorts of electronic music, house and down tempo and ambient and things like that. So that's where the name Claude9 started.
I see.
And and in fact, like Michael Ramos and I came up together in the 80s doing like new wave music for different bands and stuff. That's how he's one of my oldest friends in town. So.
Oh, that is cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I first saw you, Claude. Was that back in the Flamingo Cantina?
It probably was. Well, there was a really good band that we had called Raga Massive.
Yes.
Michael Hale and a guy named Gino Ronde and usually D Madness too.
Yes.
And that we were big at the cantina and around places like that,
I remember Raga Massive very well. It was great sound, some great shows. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's we are really going to the roots of Austin music here on the 80s and 90s. And, and a lot of sounds that truly were great that I feel at times that should be a whole catalog, like a history, a nice documentary about so much that was going on around the old Mercury, the early Parish, bands like, I'm going to have Brandon Temple here in a few weeks. So there was Hot Butter Rhythm. There was a band. So things like that were pretty amazing. We heard a little bit about Fumi with your context with Mazumi, and she was mentioning here, Fumi. I'm gonna bring it here. There's a comment that you guys had a few friends in common. Okay, so she was just saying that that's how you met with Mazumi, right? Yeah. Talk to us a little bit over the year, Fumi. How has your sound developed, and being in? How has it been for you as a guitar player, playing with so many different bands, having your roots and your family background, but now being in a new world and interacting with this music? How has it been for you, being an Austin guitar player?
Okay.
Because you are.
I came here in 1994, right after I graduated college. And before that, I was playing only heavy metal, thrash metal, and the blues.
Yeah.
The main reason I came to States was I wanted to play blues
I
with
see.
real people.
I
so
see.
so I went to Chicago first, but it was too cold, no money, so came here.
And that didn't make you write some blues songs?
Oh yeah. Also, right before that, I got heartbroken. I got
Oh,
heartbroken. So it was
oh,
really cold Christmas. I remember.
oh,
But
heartache
anyway,
is it is a dirty business, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
20 some years later, we're using that one. So, but anyway, so starting from thrash metal, heavy metal, blues, and then obviously funk. I mean, Austin has a lot of music, any kind of music here. So every night, going out to downtown, you can see any kind of music. So that inspired me, or that actually gave me a pressure to be hired uh, musician or the great musician. I felt like I have to play a lots of type of the music somehow.
Mhm.
But also I wanted to learn those
Yeah.
different type of music, any kind of culture's music. So I learned a lot through, yeah. But mhm.
That is great. You play with me as well. We share so
Yeah,
many musicians. So, like, so you
true.
have, I've made you learn some Brazilian pop music and some Brazilian sounds, but everything keeps coming back to the blues. Guys, I've been reading Santana's autobiography. Has really been inspirational. I was mentioning beforehand. Sometimes with the pandemic and sometimes some mental health stuff. Like for 2 or 3 months, I didn't play much. I wasn't really on my studio a lot, which is just my garage. But then I started to read, and then I got, oh my gosh, I started to listen to a lot of music, and then that led me to now I've been on the studio almost every day. But sometimes you kind of have, for me, it's natural. It's not about what I have to or not do, but it's interesting how sometimes you take a break from playing all the time, and then you come back to it with a renewed sense for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
And I'm mentioning that book because Santana talks a lot about the blues, and that was an attraction for you to come to
Yeah,
Austin.
definitely.
And he mentions Austin a lot in the book as well. Alan, I know you also for many years, and I have so fond memories of the house, the funk house and Round Rock. So we have to give a shout to
Yes.
Roman and Rob.
Good evening. Yeah.
And all of our funk, we have a funk fellowship with other musicians like Rudy and
My brother Brandon.
exactly, and Brandon
Magnus was part of the
and
fold.
Danny and Danielle Froman and Cindy and many other people.
Yeah.
I just remembering going to the house on Round Rock and playing funk all night long, just staying
Yeah.
up all night playing funk, and that's how I learned about funk because I was not versed in American music very much at age 18, 19. Talk to me a little bit for you, Alon. Your formative years in music. So we have Claude was playing a lot of reggae. We have Fumi was doing heavy metal and blues. How about you? Where is your hearth?
So I would say that I've come to kind of really develop like a really deep appreciation for the the sort of spectrum of American musical genres that are unique to America and that were largely created by contributions of sort of African American musical artists. There's really no way to kind of overstate the importance of uh, that to just the American cultural identity as a whole, but also um, my own individual musical identity. But I think it started. I guess I was influenced by the same things maybe that a lot of people were listening to on the radio in the years that I grew up. It was a, kind of a broad range of things, but I was really heavily influenced by the Beatles as a young kid, and kind of classic rock in general. But once I discovered Motown, I think things really started to. I think I I guess learned how to explore things that were interesting to me, rather than just sort of be influenced by things externally. So I started hunting for records, and got really really into Stevie Wonder, and then I think this is like my late teens, as I was learning how to play the bass guitar, and wanted to learn a little bit about music formally. So I was in orchestra and choir in high school, and then I just kind of kept diving into my exploration of genres that I think weren't being represented the way that I wanted them to be, and just collected more records, and just decided, I guess, eventually that I wanted to pursue a music education. So I went to the University of North Texas in Denton, and was really influenced by specific people and their ways of hearing and playing, and I think that rubbed off on me, and I think that experience of just being in that environment, and where it was safe to kind of exchange information and explore musical expression, I think that was a really really incredibly valuable experience for me. So eventually I moved back to Austin, and I moved back to Austin in 2002, I think, and I left briefly. I left for a few years in '96, right after a couple of years after Fumi and Fredgy got here, right? You guys both got here in '94, right?
I came here in '94.
Yeah. So that was kind of a really cool time to come back to Austin. And I remember
that was a good time in Austin.
A ton, like, things had the music scene had progressed in the 7 or so years that I was gone, and it was a lot more things. I mean, there's just a lot more musical representation, and I remember there was sort of the Latin music scene was becoming mainstream in a way.
Very strong Latin music, very strong salsa scene, very strong Brazilian, and also, as you guys remember, you were just mentioning, Claude, we actually had touring Texas reggae bands. Sometimes sounds like an oxymoron, a Texas reggae band. But we had strength in those festivals. There was a lot of world music coming through.
Hip hop scene, neo soul,
hip hop. A shout out every Wednesday's Hip Hop Hump Day for a little bit, and how that happened with live musicians. Yeah, there was definitely beautiful representation, and some really strong bands with those sounds. So that's interesting that you mentioned that, Alan, because we all share, all of us here in this call, we all share that experience, right, of playing in some of those bands, or like dub, with I forgot. Sub Oslo, definitely.
Echo Base Sound System too.
Echo Base Sound
Remember
System.
Echo Base?
Yes, I remember Echo Base and Sub Oslo. Maneja Beto, Gandaya.
Gandaya.
Yeah.
I remember when I first saw you and Alex and Gandaya. That was great.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and so it's just interesting times. And guys, I want to get to your music, and I feel like I could. I'm gonna have to get you guys back here to talk more. But before I do play "Nightmare of Hope," I wanted to hear from you guys. what is something about this record that you love? What is something that that you really enjoyed? Maybe is musically, maybe it's a vibe. But I want to hear from each one of you guys. What is something that you're really digging from this a beautiful record you guys got out? And I'm gonna put the link right there as you talk about it.
Okay, well, I'll say a couple
Or
of
maybe
first
there's
for
many,
me.
many things you may really love. So what
Yeah,
whatever
well,
comes to your
there's
mind.
really one thing is on one of the songs. I had always wanted to have strings on my record and arrange a song, although I'd never done it. And I did a string arrangement for one of the songs, Red Sunset, and we did it in the studio, and it really came out good. So that was a big thing for me. Also, I had to the songs on this record, I really could explore singing a lot more than just being a keyboard player. And
There
so
is
that
some
was a big thing
terrific,
for me. And
great lyrics, and the vocals really match the rest of the band. So there is a nice a soundscape that you guys create.
thanks, yeah.
How,
And some, even though it's a dark, to me, it's, I almost wonder a lot before it came out if it was just too much darkness and sadness, but I love that part of it, and I think people can connect with it. So not negative, but it's dark. I mean,
Darkness is not
hey,
necessarily.
but you guys are honest. Heartache
yeah,
is
yeah,
it's dirty, and
yeah,
there you
yeah,
cannot give us that title and then like beat around
yeah,
the bush.
right, right.
Give us the good stuff.
Well, I really feel that sentiment pretty profoundly. But I think one of the things I really love about this album is I think it really does capture what we sound like when we play together as.
Oh yeah,
And I think it captures our chemistry a lot. I mean, like pretty faithfully. And I just think about the experience of making the record, and it wasn't fraught. There wasn't conflict and like sort of like a battle of egos. It was just very constructive. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe Claude and Fumi had to have it out a couple of times about something, but it always gets resolved, and I think that I just think it was a really enjoyable experience creating the record. We didn't do it all at once. It wasn't just a back-to-back sessions. We kind of did it a little bit here and there. But I also like the fact that it's a good contrast to the first release because we had a lot of experience playing these songs live before we recorded them. Often it works the other way around where we kind of, in other projects I've been in a lot of projects, and we record the song first and then the arrangement evolves when we realize, that worked okay for the recording, but it doesn't work live. And I think we kind of went the other way with that. We found arrangements that worked live and preserved those in this record, which is a document of all of that work that went into making those arrangements work.
Yeah, true.
Beautiful.
I mean, we had that idea. We wanted to, because when we did the first album and then some of the songs, we started playing them live, they just expanded a lot.
Yeah.
I think Fumi and I had talked about, well, let's always play the songs for at least like 2 months or so before we even try to record it, because it's going to change.
Yeah.
That
Also,
made it take a long time, but I mean,
But it is part of the music
Yeah.
process. The
Right.
music wants to distill. It takes
Yeah.
seeping
Yeah.
into your brain certain
Yeah.
melodies and
Right.
ideas. So that is a beautiful thing that you guys were, that was part of this album. Sometimes we don't have the luxury, but it's great that you guys could let
Right.
that music seep. When you got to the studio, you're like, okay, that's what this song is. Boom, right?
yeah. Yeah.
And how
Yeah.
about you, Fumi? What was something that you found that was really nice about this particular record. And once again, just congratulations on the beautiful artwork. And the
Yeah.
people can find that on Bandcamp and have all of the information there. So that's what was the fun, some of the fun things for you?
Fun things was actually making songs. Yeah, all songs in the studio. I mean, we wanted to include everybody, but this time, this album mostly me and Claude wrote beforehand, right? And then we introduced other members. That actually it was a little bit struggle sometimes. Of course, two people, different minds, but we kind of set the tones and set the kind of path we wanna go together. And I feel like we really achieved, and we really achieved to see the dark but still beautiful world, and then record it with great friends, great musicians, and great people. I mean, it's just something else.
I mean, another connection is Michael Ramos helped us out a lot. We did it in his studio.
Right.
He suggested
Joey.
an engineer to help with Joey Benjamin.
Joey,
we didn't know, but we all love him now. He's so great.
So the angels,
And,
the angels came
right,
through.
right. They came
The stars, the stars
Right.
aligned. The right people.
True. Also, each families, supporting us. I mean, my wife too, and my families and
No,
everything.
absolutely. We cannot, as musicians, we cannot do anything without that support. So big shout to everybody in your families and people in your circle that made this record possible. And everybody that was tuning in right now, we heard from several folks saying hello, from Lisa to Chris to Easy Compadre to Eileen and everybody that had said hello, or if you're watching and you didn't have the chance to say hello yet. Oh, we got Joshua Thompson here from Atlas Mayor saying congratulations on a great record. So guys, thank you so much for your time. I feel like I'm gonna have to have a follow-up with you guys to come here talk about more music if I keep doing these conversations. Now I'm gonna play for folks to end the show, Nightmare of Hope. Is there anything that you want to say about that song in particular? Let's set up the track for folks that listening.
Well, I just want to thank Fumi. I had started this song like a long, long time ago, and it had that title, but I always thought nobody wants to hear a song called Nightmare of Hope. And I played it for Fumi. He goes, no, that's a good song. Let's work on it. And I was like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, honest is good.
Right.
And here you are playing to a lot of people on the Austin Music TV and playing, way beyond here. But now it's history. Now it's part of y'all's history.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you, Alan and
Thank you,
Fumi
Freddy.
and
Yeah,
Claude.
thank you.
Thank you.
I love you guys, and
Love you.
we could be talking all night long. So let me set up the tune. But big shout out, congratulations on the record. And if you guys are at home, please check the band out, 35 millimeters, nuestros amigos de México, nuestros amigos en Brazil. This has been a conversation with 35 millimeters. Un abraço. Obrigado.
Darkened cafe, I I watched you walk away, the sound of your footsteps echoing softly, the smell of your perfume lingers on in the room and measures my sorrow like the notes of a broken melody. I used to dream about a woman just like you. My dreams came true, then they turned into a nightmare of hope. So many years I let your memory haunt me, and even now I hear your laughter taunt me. Still I long to create you, take back all love that made me hate you. In this house on a hill, your ghost sits with me still and waits to taste the teardrops that roll down my cheek. But your kiss tastes of earth. There's no time for rebirth. All that's left of your soul will forever remain
Obrigado, gente. Thank you, 35 millimeters. Obrigado, Fumi, Claude, Alan, Mazumi Jones, everybody watching. I will be back. Gonna be back next week with trombonist, Brazilian trombonist Felipe Brito, great jazz musician, talking about his experiences playing Brazilian jazz at a highest caliber here in Austin, Texas. And in a few weeks from now, we're gonna have Brennan Temple. So stick around in the future. Até a próxima. Till next time.